Yay, I think I'm live. Hi, how's everyone doing? Why do I have a notification? What is that telling me to do? I don't know. They've changed loads of things on this live control panel thing. I'm gonna have to relearn it all. Anyway, hi, thanks for joining me today on this, what day are we on? Sunday evening. How are you all doing? I do apologise if the live stream is a different time than it normally would be because the clock's changed in the UK this morning. But obviously, it doesn't do that for every country. Not today, anyway. Hi, bestie. How are you? Hello, Kalu. Confused by the time change. I know. I didn't even realise because I think I scheduled the live stream yesterday and it said 7 p.m. So I wasn't. I didn't think it would change, but obviously the clock's just automatically changed on my iPhone, so I didn't even realize. But I woke up feeling rejuvenated because I got an extra hour of sleep that I wasn't expecting to get this morning. Bestie's clock's changed too. I'm good, thank you, Bestie. How's everybody's weekend been or week? Has anyone been up to anything interesting? Also, is there a country that never changes their clocks, or does every single country do that? And if so, how weird? Does anybody else think it's really weird that we all change our time? Like, it just goes to show that time is a human concept. Like, it's not even a real thing because we can just very easily change it. Isn't that weird? Okay, next week in the US. Okay, cool. Yeah, that makes sense because the NFL game that I normally watch on a Sunday was at 5 p.m. today rather than 6 p.m. Normally, it's 6 p.m. for my NFL games that I watch, but it was 5 p.m. today. So that'll go back to 6 then, won't it, when the US time zone changes? Most European do, most others not. Wow. I'm gonna have to Google if there is a country that doesn't change their clocks at all and they just stay the same. The Bears are still sucking. They started off strong. They started okay. It looked like a promising game. But I last checked in when it was halftime, so I don't know what the situation is right now for the Bears. They're on right now, so yeah. Sorry if I've taken anybody away from the NFL. Yes, Baron, I do watch NFL. I'm not like a diehard fan. I don't know everything about every team. I just know the stuff about the teams I like. Dolphins are beating the Falcons. Dolphins are doing well this week. We like to see it. Okay, they have not had a good season. I was happy with how the score looked when I turned the game off for this live stream. If they lose whilst I'm on the stream, I'd rather not know. You know what? As far as I'm concerned, they won. At halftime, they were winning 13-6 to Ravens. Ooh. Hi, Scott. How are you? Thank you so much for becoming a Dragon Rider. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for the support. 24-3 Dolphins beating Falcons. Oh my goodness, we're like a different team this week. Seahawks will win this year. You heard it here first. That sounds like the words of a Seahawks fan. Ampersand. Waddle's got a touchdown. He's waddling away. And then he waddled away. Waddle, waddle, waddle. Until the very next day. Bum, 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 bum. Does anybody else remember that song? Anyway, yeah, how is everybody? How are you all doing? Thanks for being here with me tonight. We've got 10 people in already. 10 people, and we've been on for 4 minutes. This is great. Don't worry, Becky, here kids play in the streets till midnight. Goodness, you live in a wild area. Everybody's normally tucked up in bed at 9 p.m. where I live. Yeah, we're not very wild in this part of the UK. Sorry, what was we all here for again? Do you know what, Rushy? Do you want to do my live stream for me? Because I forgot. We are here for the October book club. This is the book for October. Can you believe we've had 10 of these live streams, this being the 10th? How have we almost been doing the book club for a year? I started it in January. How is it almost been a year? I don't even know. It's hot, not wild. Oh yeah, of course. Obviously here it is absolutely freezing. It's bobble hat weather. I wore a bobble hat for the first time this year. That's crazy. Anyway, the October book was The Will of the Many by James Islington. First of all, who read the book? I know Sarah didn't, but she's joined the live stream anyway for the support, which I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Baron says, Seahawks fan, fell in bed, and 3 relatives passed the last 2 months. Things are not well. Oh no, I'm very sorry to hear that. I hope things start looking up for you soon. I suppose the only good thing about hitting rock bottom is that you can't get lower than rock bottom. It's got to come back up at some point. That is literally the only good thing. It's not a good thing, but that's the only thing. Are you doing December's on the 27th, the day after Boxing Day? Oh, I don't know. It will really depend on when people want the live stream, because the day after box, I normally do it on a Sunday, so that would be the 28th. So depends when people want it. I can do it before Christmas, I can do it after Christmas, I can do it not at all in December. It depends on when people want the next live stream. Sarah made a homemade lemonade. That sounds amazing. I love fresh lemonade. Finished it on Thursday, but listened to the audiobook. How was the audiobook, Bestie? Was it good? I haven't listened to an audiobook since I listened to the A Night of the Seven Kingdoms one, I think. Was that the last audiobook I listened to? I think it was. I don't listen to that many, but I definitely want to. Sarah says, who wants? I want. Can you ship some over, please? I love fresh lemonade. Kalu finished it last week. Awesome. So did Benjen. Benjen finished Will of the Many last week. Cool. I think last week was when I finished it as well. Yeah, I think it was. Boxing Day, who is fighting? Hopefully not Santa Claus. The audiobook was very good. It was very good, but it was the German version, so you won't understand. Yeah, I wouldn't understand the German one. Morton says, got through 2/3. Awesome. What do you think to it so far? I always put a spoiler disclaimer in these live streams, but I actually don't think we spoil that much, if I'm being honest. We normally don't really spoil much at all about the book. We normally just say how we feel about it. But I will put a spoiler warning out there anyway. So if you haven't finished the book, there is a possibility that it may be spoiled in this live stream, just depending on what we talk about. Kalu has the exact same issue that I have. Trouble remembering all the names. Yeah. I can't even remember what the name of the main character was. What was he called? Oh, this, or is it this? But tush. Viserys did a great job with that one. Hope he re-records the main A Song of Ice and Fire books. Yes, he did the Night of the Seven Kingdoms ones perfectly. He had Harry Lloyd, that's his name, Harry Lloyd. Honestly, he was incredible. Yeah, I really enjoyed the audiobook. This was the best book I've read this year easily. The plot was so dense. There were so many set pieces: the stadium massacre, the duel, the foundation match, the final labyrinth. Oh boy, was that good. This is up there with a very, very good book. I really enjoyed it, especially I'd say like the last half. The first half was like just trying to get to grips with the main character, what he was up to, setting the scene for the plot. But then it really started to ramp up with the action in the second half. Yeah, my overall opinion is that I really enjoyed this book. Bestie says, to be honest, didn't read much this month because my concentration wasn't so good. And that's fair. That is absolutely fair. Yeah, I'm at the stage at the moment where I keep zoning out. So like I'll read a page and I'm probably only concentrating for like the first half of the page. And then I have to go back and read the half because I realize I've zoned out. My mind just wanders. Sorry guys, I'm being very slow at responding to your comments. I always do this. So Callie says, love the story, very well written, 4 out of 5. Yeah, I think I gave it a 4-star as well. 4-star was my rating. If I spell names wrong, it's also because of the audiobook. Yeah, that's fair. That is completely fair. I mean, you're not seeing it spell all the time, whereas when you're reading the book, you're seeing it constantly. Baron says, yes, Harry Lloyd. I'm used to not using his name when I recommend the audiobook because I feel people will fixate on how much they hated Viserys. Yeah. Do you know what's really sad? That obviously like the evil characters got like hate in real life because they're just so good at acting like evil villains. I'm sure that was what I forget the actor's name, which is really bad of me, but the actor for Joffrey said that was kind of a reason why he took a step back from acting, was because everybody was giving him hate. I'm sorry, like he's just a really good actor. So sad. Bestie says for me, it's definitely a 5-star, best story for me this year. Yeah, I think the overall opinion is that we all enjoyed this book. Sarah's giving us lots of lemonade. Thank you, Sarah. Honestly, I don't think I'm craving anything more than a lemonade right now. I've just got plain water. I mean, I'm lucky to have drinking water and all that in this country, but I'd rather have lemonade. Martin says, so it might be getting better, is what I'm hearing so far. It's been a slog. Yeah, I found it a slog for about the first half. What page number are you on, Morton? Because I think I probably was like, I don't know, it's quite a long book. Maybe I was even like 300 pages in when I started to think like, can something happen now? I was just enjoying the journey, but the latter part of it, the plot was great. I think, to be honest, the ending of it really did save it for me. It didn't need saving. I was enjoying the book anyway, but the last part of it was genuinely incredible, in my opinion. Hi, Valerian. Hi, Becky. Sorry, a bit late. No need to apologise. We're here waiting for you. Thank you for joining anyway. I really appreciate it. Benjamin says, I've heard people call the first half slow, but I didn't feel that way at all. What did I find slow about it? It wasn't slow because obviously you have the part before he even goes to the academy with that massive massacre thing. I think it was just like the come down after the massacre. There was a little bit where it was just a bit stagnant, where not really all that much happened until he then got to the academy. So there's a little bit in the middle of that part where he just wasn't really doing much, but we were learning about him, like we were learning about the characters, which I didn't mind. So that's probably why I felt like it was a little bit slow in that part, but I still enjoyed it. Still good. Baron says, I have done less reading as I have been doing some writing, trying to express myself. That is incredible. Amazing. Is this like writing for fun, or is it writing that you're hoping to one day get out there in the world and share with people? Martin says they're getting into part 3. So how many pages will that be? Part 3 was definitely my favorite part. Oh yeah, so about almost 500 pages in this version. Yeah, part 3 was good. Very, very good. I would encourage you to like continue it to get to the end, and I'd love to hear your thoughts once you do finish it, because the ending I thought was very, very good. Oh yeah, 430 pages or so. Bears just scored a touchdown back within a field goal. Oh my goodness! Amazing. Whoop whoop. What's the score now then? There was a lot of intrigue and build up early on as we learn what Alcizar's motivation is and what the nature of his relationship with Biss will become. Yeah, and I think that's important, which is why, like, when I say I felt like it was slow, that's not a bad thing for me. Like, people say Robin Hobb is slow. People say like A Song of Ice and Fire is slow. But I don't mind that because there was always interesting stuff happening, whether it's if the author's deciding to spend some time world building or if they're spending some time on us just learning about the characters. I don't mind. You don't always need the plot to be going at a million miles an hour, because sometimes you do need to learn about the characters. So it was slow in that first bit, but we were learning about, like you say, Alcizar's motivation, the whole purpose for why he's going to the academy in the first place. Do we have to be careful with spoilers for the people that didn't finish? You don't have to be, because I've put a spoiler warning on here. So if anyone hasn't finished the book, then I will warn you if there is a spoilery comment and you cannot look at the comments. So just bear that in mind, because I would hate to ruin the ending for somebody, but here is the disclaimer that it's a possibility it could be spoiled. Hot take, no book needs 240,000 words. It's just a huge book. It's unreal. Is that how many words is in this book? Wow. That is incredible. Well, it is like 700 pages or something, isn't it? Part 3 is the trip. Yeah, what is part 3? Will part 3 be when they are in the ending thing of their academy? What was it called? What was the task called at the end of their year, or like the Iudicium? Iudicium? Udicium? Judici Actually, I've just realised there's a pronunciation thing at the end. Right, here we go. How is it pronounced, do we reckon? Okay. Eudicium. Eudicium. So apparently, on here it says Eudicium. So there we go. I did not pronounce it in my head like that when I read it. But I should have just gone to this glossary at the back of the book. Latin pronunciation. Okay. You learn something new every day. What a shame I didn't learn that prior to reading the book. So Baron says, I started a Substack, but only to try and get feedback, not looking to be famous. I'm writing the music of my life, sometimes writing things, inserting lyrics, other times just writing about music. Awesome. That sounds incredible. I looked into Substack. It seems like a very wholesome place. It doesn't feel as hectic as some of the other social medias. That sounds amazing. I hope you get what you're looking for on there with some cool feedback. Let any of us know if we can help, if you want us to give you some feedback on anything. I'm sure we'd be happy to do so. Callie says, I don't mind slow if it's building the world or characters. Yeah, I 100% agree. I don't mind a slow book as long as it's contributing towards something else, which this definitely was. I think most fantasy stories need a slow start for world building. That's why they are always so long. Yeah, and you will find that the majority of fantasy books are like that. Like when they're really dense and they've got a very complicated plot, and a very purposeful plot, then they do need that time to set the scene. Otherwise, I don't like being thrown into it too quickly and not knowing what's going on. I feel like you need that part where it sets the scene. I'm going to butcher the names. I like Lanistia. Lanistia. Let's see how you pronounce her name. I really liked her too. Do you know what though? She has more depth to her that we will find out in the second book, because there was so much to her that wasn't explained, and I want to know more. I want to know more about her. Let's see how you pronounce her name. Here we go. Lanistia. 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 There you go. I liked her too. Team Emissa or Team Equa? Oh my goodness. Emissa, because it's easier to say. It's Latin. Maybe the J is like a Y, like in German. Yeah. The English pronunciation is also a bit weird. The English pronunciation is weird of anything. Benjamin says, I love long books, but the only books I ever felt were too long were the later Stormlight archive novels. Yeah, they're big books as well, aren't they? I wanted to start reading some Brandon Sanderson, but I'm a little bit concerned because of what people have said about the most recent release by him, which is like The Way of Kings or something. Like people said it's not that great, but I thought, I don't know, like, do I commit to the series to then inevitably have a book that's not as great? I don't know. I just want to know what the hype is all about. Valerian says, I haven't read the book, but it is on my Audible wish list, just here for the vibes. Thank you for vibing with us. I really appreciate that. Scott sent a smiley face. Faisal Mimon has said, what is your height? Honestly, guys, I'm going to be honest with you. My height is 5 foot. As Sabrina Carpenter would say, 5 feet to be exact. I'm short and sweet. But I will happily take what Rushy said. 7'2". 7'2". Do you know what? Height's just a concept, just like time. I mean, compared to an ant, I'm very tall. So it's all a matter of perspective. Dolphins just scored again, did they? What's the score now? Well, I can just Google it. I've got my phone next to me. It is our week to be Dolphins fans. Team Amissa, yeah. I didn't pick up any romantic vibes between Vis and Aqua. Yeah, same. I didn't. I think she's quite indifferent towards him. I think she warmed to him towards the end, but obviously their fathers aren't the best of buds, are they? But no, he was definitely vibing with Amissa more. The pseudo-futuristic Roman setting was pretty enjoyable. I can also now count further in Roman numerals than ever before. Honestly, that was so cool. Like, I love that every chapter is a Roman numeral, and there's like at least 50 chapters in this, maybe even more. In fact, I'm sure there's more. And it was amazing that they were all Roman numerals. That's incredible. Oh, Calu's made a very good point. Team Emissa, but not sure about the betrayal. Same, but I went onto a Reddit forum that had theories about that. So it may not be as betrayally as the betrayal was led to believe. Yeah, I think there's definitely more to that. I think that definitely wasn't intentional. I think she felt like she was doing it in a way to save him rather than to, you know, kill him. I'm currently on book 4 of Stormlight. It's like 60 hours on Audible, getting very long. That is very long. That is a lot of time of your life to spend on a book. I hope you're enjoying it. Rushy says, short and sweet, always. Don't you measure in centimeters? No, we don't really. Some people do. We don't really though in this country, or at least in this part of the country. We do it in like feet. And is it inches? Is the second one inches? 75 chapters. That is a lot. Until the end, I would like Emissa more, but there are some questions referring to her. But Akra has nice development. Yeah, agreed. She might have been under control of Viridius. Do you know what? I don't know how I feel about Viridius. I don't know if he is. I mean, he's definitely evil, but I don't know. I think he's like just the front face for something, but like for a bigger thing. I don't know. I don't think I hate. I don't. Yeah, I don't think he's the big baddie. We'll find out in the second book, which does actually come out next month. So we timed this perfectly. Like we really timed this book club perfectly for this. Not sure about the twist at the end. What are your thoughts on that? Honestly, loved it. Like I thought it did not go where I thought it was going to go at all. I did have to go onto Reddit to find out what it meant. But when I found out what was going on, I thought it was very, very cool, and it definitely made me want to pick up the next book. It seems like Emissa knows something that she didn't share. Yeah, I completely agree with that. And I think that is why she like betrayed this. She knows the secret of the number one guy in Gov. Yeah. There's so much more to the characters than we got in this book. Like it's crazy. It's a 700-page book, and we really didn't learn all that much about the characters' backstories. I just feel like there's so much more left to know. They're all so mysterious. 31 free dolphins. Oh my god. Do you know what a shame I'm not watching the game right now. I mean, I'm spending my Sunday evening with all of you lovely people, and that is a blessing, so I'm very happy to have you all here with me. But the one week that the dolphins do well is the one week I can't watch the game. Every game I've watched so far this season with the dolphins, I have not been happy. So oh well, it is what it is. That's life. I'm not sure if he really is evil. Not sure Viridius is evil anymore. Maybe a bit reckless, but not evil. Yeah, I agree. I don't think he is. Rushy has thrown out some Roman history facts. I'm not a Roman history fan in that much detail, but I do think it's cool. Feel free to throw more facts our way. I listen to the audiobooks at work, so 60 hours is fine, just time I would be working anyway. And you know what? That's a good use of time in your working day. If I can fit any pockets of time in my working day to read, I definitely will. I don't get that much time, but if I can, then I will. Why not? Viridius comes off as super grey, very much someone who believes the ends justify the means. Yes. Do you know what? Yeah, that's a very good way of describing it. Very morally grey. Yeah. He's got a purpose or like a motivation, but he won't stop at anything to get it. So he will go through some very dodgy routes to get to the end goal. But I don't think he's as evil as we were led to believe he was at first. Every evil character was once a nice guy, then turn of events made him be the bad guy. But still, if we dig into his motives, you would always side with him/her. That's my theory. And that's a brilliant theory as well, Sarah. I think that's great. And yeah, like most people don't start off coming out of the womb being evil. Something tends to happen, which turned them that way. Um, Miami Dolphin fans too. That type. Yep, yep. Go Fins. um, yeah, it's not been a great season for us, but we've still got a lot of the season left to go. But we're doing well tonight. Keep me updated on the score, guys. um, I'm gonna butcher the name of this as well. My jaw dropped at the Nomakia. Nomakia. How would you guys pronounce that? I would go to the glossary, but I'm cautious that it takes me ages to find that word. I knew something bad was going to happen as the atmosphere got sinister. Couldn't foresee thousands of people being slaughtered at an eye blink. Yeah, that got me like crazy. And that was actually like really early on in the book, wasn't it? That was so early. Um, but yeah, that was crazy. But I really, really liked it. And I think it set the scene for how major this plot is as well. Cause like the guy was Vis's father's like advisor. So he was like somebody he knew from like his past life who then did that. Oh yeah, only a quarter of the way through the book, a scene that really stuck with me. That was one of the craziest scenes of the whole book, and for it to only be about a quarter of the way through is crazy. I felt the book had many really good twists, things that made me gasp. Yeah, I completely agree. What do you think of Game of Thrones now that it has majorly deviated from the books? At this point, do you like the show or the books better? So the second question, definitely, easy to answer. I definitely do think the books are better, but that is because, like, I tend to say that with most things that have a TV or movie adaptation, because you always get more information in the books. Like, think of how many words are in the books. You get the internal monologues of every POV, like every character. You know what's going through their mind, and I connected to the characters way more. Um, but the delivery of some of the characters in the TV show is way better than I thought it ever would be. When I'm saying that, I'm thinking of Peter Dinklage playing Tyrion. He played Tyrion better than I ever thought any person could. Um, the actor who plays Jamie Lannister, I think, is brilliant for Jamie. Um, Arya's casted really well. So like the casting, they've got pretty much 10 out of 10. Um, and the first 4 seasons were brilliant adaptations of the book, and some of the cinematography is so much better than what you could have got in the books, because in the books you're visualizing things, and I didn't visualize it the way that some of these camera angles have pulled it off in the TV show. Um, but I'm just a bit concerned about some of the plots now. Season 5 has definitely been a turning point, and it's not really going in the way that I'm like liking it to go. I think the big thing was Barristan Selmy. Um, that really was shocking. And then I watched an episode today, which will be up on my channel on Wednesday for members and Thursday for everybody else. And yeah, I don't know how I felt about the episode, if I'm being honest. Arya's storyline in the House of Black and White, I loved in the books, and I'm just not loving it in the TV show. But you know, so we shall see. But I'm sensing like not great vibes from the changes that they're leading up to make. But that's just my pre-assumption of the rest of the season. Kalu said, another plot twist, finding out Relucia was the wife of. Yeah, absolutely. That was crazy. So when because we met her as like this kind of like rebel, not rebel leader, but she was part of that rebel group. And then she comes back later as being Ulciza's wife. I thought, yeah. I knew we would see her again in a different form. I just didn't think that closely. Sarah says, mind if asking what game you are talking about, football, European one or American one? American. Talking about American football. It's not like a massive scene in the UK. I don't really know how I got into it. Yeah, I actually don't know how, but I've been watching it for a few years and I love it. But yeah, the NFL is American football. But we also have our normal English football, which is a very big scene over here, but I think the Americans call that soccer. Their version of that is soccer, I think. Very confusing. Benjamin agrees with Kalu. The Relucia reveal was so good, didn't see it coming. I feel like I should have. Yeah, I agree. Rushy says very good twists for sure. Yeah, very good. Very good twists. Bestie says, I really liked when Vis was back home and he first kind of panicked, but as far as this trip goes, he found more peace with his past. It was so good for his character development. Yes, because we got like some flashbacks because there was the part where he kind of jumped off that mountain thing into the like the sea to save Amissa. And he already knew that because he'd obviously done it in the past with his sisters or sister. Um, but he was doing it in like a different way. So for the first time he did it, he was doing it to like escape because his family was being like murdered. Um, so he was doing it to escape, but the second time he was doing it to like save somebody. So I liked that. It was like a good parallel to how things have changed since he last got there. And like the tunnels in the palace that he still knew that were there when he lived there. And then obviously he comes back as like a guest and he still knows the tunnels and the pathways. I just thought that was a really cool contrast. Went to the NFL games at Wembley a couple of years ago. Was cool. Yeah, I'd love to go to the Wembley games. I would. That was on was it last week or the week before? Yeah, there was a game at Wembley recently. Um this is homecoming portion was great too. It gave him much needed character growth and time to reflect before the finale. Yeah, the talk with the advisor was so sweet. It was. It really was. Yeah, I really like that part of the book as well. Actually, that was a very strong part. Yeah, that whole last part was great. You got to think about it. You've got the trip. You've got the how is it pronounced? The Eutychium. You've got that. Like there was so much that happened at the end. Crazy. I don't see the Dolphins game on TV. Which channel is it? Oh yeah, Rashi's. Yeah, Rashi's. But the NFL Game Pass. I think. Yeah, I think the reason why it's not very accessible in the UK is because you do have to pay more for it than you would like the normal TV channels. So people don't tend to want to pay more for something when they could watch their own English football. But I just like the NFL. The talk with his father's advisor that he wrongfully thought betrayed his father was great. Yeah, so good. I meant to ask, after the last live stream, did you watch that film we discussed before sunrise? I haven't watched it yet, but I did write it down in my notes. I haven't really watched a whole lot, to be fair. I haven't watched anything. If I was watching anything this month, I was trying to cram in a lot of Halloween movies. But I definitely will. I definitely will watch it because it sounded very, very interesting. One of my few criticisms is the will-based magic system is interesting but not very well defined. Yes, that's actually a very, very good point. So I thought that was part of the book where we didn't really get enough information on it for it to make any sense because he kept referring to something where he like doesn't have to cede his will or he doesn't have to like give his will. But does anybody know why that is? Because he kept saying at the start of the book, like, I don't want to get to the point where I have to cede my will, or I don't want to get to the point where I have to give my will away. And then I'm sure Ulcizer or somebody was like, no, no, you won't have to, don't worry. But it's like, why doesn't he have to do it? Like, does anybody know? Did that get explained? I don't think it did. So I would love for that to be focused on a bit more in the next book because we have this like hierarchy and we have this ranking of people who have more will than others and the lower rankings have to give their will to the top ones, but it's not said like why or how. So I would love for that to be developed a bit more. Robert, good evening. Sorry I'm late. I just had to finish The Hunger of the Gods, book 2 of the Blood Swan. How is that? I want to read that next. Like, I really, really want to read it. And I want to read it in winter because it's very like the first one was a very wintry book. Thank you for joining us today. How are you? How are you doing? Nice to see your face there. Love horror films too. What is on your list? Honestly, what isn't on my list? Well, I wanted to I like the funny horrors. So you know, like the old scary movies. I think Scary Movie 3 for some reason was one that I used to watch all the time because that was really funny. But there's also one on Netflix which is called Hoobie Halloween, and it's got Adam Sandler in it. And it's very, very funny. I've wa Yeah, this will be the 3rd year I think that I've watched that in a row. Um, it's not a horror. It's like a horror comedy, but I do wanna get into some horror. So I used to watch The Woman in Black. I'm pretty sure I watched that with Daniel Radcliffe in it. Um, but yeah, if you've got any good, like, kind of scary or thriller movies, please let me know because all of the Halloween ones I watch are comedies, horror comedies. This doesn't want to be part of the hierarchy system. It would feel like a betrayal to his family in Homeland, I think. Yeah, and that's like a great reason to not do it. But I just wanted more. I think I wanted a bit more behind that. And I think we need to know more about his family as well, because we know that he was royalty and we know that obviously his whole family was killed. But I would love to know why. Like, I would love to know. But I know that his was like the only society that wasn't using will. So I think that the hierarchy were trying to like overthrow them. But I would just love to know a bit more how it led to that point. So I'm sure we'll get more flashbacks in the next book. Scott says Halloween movie is one of my favorite. Nightmare Before Christmas. I love that. See, I normally watch Nightmare Before Christmas the week after Halloween because it's like it's kind of the in between of a Halloween and a Christmas movie. So I like to watch it when I'm like getting out of Halloween mode into Christmas mode. So yeah, it'll almost be time for me to watch that. I just love that we talk about anything and everything on this stream. We talk about 50 different conversations in one. It's great. Messi says maybe you don't need to give Will as an ambassador. Yeah, I don't know. I just wanted it to be more kind of like explained, but I feel like we will. You've just got to. It's just like a slow build to get to that point. Kalu says they have to give an oath at the Aurora Columni where they offer their will. I think they have to do it when they are 16. Yeah, so he didn't do that then, did he? I'm sure he kept saying I didn't do that. So like he doesn't want to do that. How old is he in this book? He's 18, isn't he? Has he just turned 18 or 16? His birthday was in the book, wasn't it? There was a part where he said, "Today I realized it's my whatever birthday." So how old did he turn? Betty says 18. Yeah. So he didn't give that oath then, did he, where he offered his will? The Hunger of the Gods is very good. Epic animal god battles. Oh my goodness, yay! I really want to read more. I really want to read more of this series. I definitely will. I think it'll be like a December, January book, I think. This has been avoiding that, posing as a lower class nobody. Okay, so is he pretending that he doesn't have any will to give because he's like really lower class? What are everyone's theories on Vis's father and the toy boat right at the end? Ghost, multiverse traveler, something else. I'm going to say multiverse traveler. So I have a theory that his dad is not actually dead. That's my theory. Who else agrees? Because the boat was there. The boat was there on his bedside table. He could pick it up and feel it. The toy boat was there. And the dialogue from the father felt very real. And now we know what happened at the end of the book, and we know what happened to Ulciza's brother. Then I think his father is alive. That's my theory. Let me know what you think. Robert says, yes, the pacing of the first 150 pages is wonky, and we get two more POVs, but then it starts sprinting and growling and biting. Two more POVs in Hunger of the Gods. That's interesting. When he was adopted and sent to the academy, he can keep delaying it. Oh, so he managed to avoid it then. Valerian says, I mean, my favorite horror film is The Shining, even though I didn't really like the book. See, I loved the book for The Shining. I've not watched the movie. Should I? Would you recommend? I mean, if it's your favorite horror film, have I watched The Shining? No, I haven't. Oh, I've only seen a clip. I've seen a clip of the guy pushing his head through the wall. And that's all. That's the only clip I've seen of The Shining. I haven't watched it. No, I haven't. Okay, cool. I might want to watch maybe I should watch The Shining this week. Should I watch The Shining? Because I love the book and because I know what happens, I don't think I'll be scared. The Substance, I think, is like the best horror film of recent years, and it's funny too. Awesome. And I've just seen that Scott said, yes, watch The Shining. Maybe I watch The Shining this week. Would anyone want to see a reaction to me watching The Shining? Could I get that filmed and uploaded in the next week? Probably not. I think this is homeland held secrets connected to the other worlds, which is why it was targeted. I didn't even think of that. I didn't even think of that. That's such a good theory, and that would make sense with if his father was in, like, a multiverse kind of thing situation, that would make sense because he would know secrets about it. Oh, I think we're onto something. Bestie says, "As it seems like the labyrinth cloned this in the other worlds, it's possible that some versions of his family are still alive." Yeah. Also, Esteban Milion knew maybe something about the other two worlds. Yeah, I think he did, definitely. Oh yeah, and everyone's confirmed that he turns 18 at the end of the book. Esteban also used an unknown power and doesn't fear death slash kill himself, so maybe he already had copies in the other world. That is my theory too. I think because he was so willing to die at the start of the book, I think there's versions of him that exist in the other parts. So yeah, I think that's why he was totally okay to peace out because other clones of him exist. So Callie says, but his father said they would not meet again. Now, is this because maybe it would be like a risk if they met? Like, would it be like a life threatening situation if they met again? But I think he's alive, Callie. I think he's alive. Faisal says, I only have around $62 left in my bank account. What should I do with it? Buy a book or buy food? I also need a haircut, which is around $40 in Dallas. So if you have to have a haircut, which is $40, so you would have, quick maths, $22 left. That might be enough to buy a hardback book, because in the UK, they're normally about £20. Who needs to eat when you've got a new book? Escapism. You can escape from the hunger by reading the book. Don't take financial advice from me. You've got more in your bank account than I do right now. Maybe buy the food. Al Kisker, the constants are always hard. They are, aren't they? Spelling is hard. Okay, so when Vis asked his father if he was dead and he replied that he was, I think he is a copy, and he is referring to Vis's original father dying at the invasion of Zeus. Yes, Benjamin, we agree. We've got the same mind. We agree. Valerian says definitely watch The Shining. Faisal said do movie reactions when you see movies, especially The Shining. Everybody's saying yes. Here's Johnny. Red Room, i.e. Can I say that on YouTube? I don't know. Excellent Carrot Cake is here. Hi everyone. Happy Sunday. Hope everyone's having a lovely weekend. Likewise, how are you, Excellent Carrot Cake? Hope you're feeling excellent. Thank you for joining us today. Roshi has put a carrot and a cake. And I'm finally caught up with comments. Now we can all breathe. I feel like I talk a million miles an hour when I'm trying to reply to comments because there's just so much to talk about and I love it. Okay, so do people want me to watch The Shining? Because I did wonder if people wanted reactions to things that weren't Game of Thrones. So I could do that. I also thought that the dream Vis had after the Judicium were real but connected to the other worlds. Oh, that's a good point as well. Oh, do you know what? I want to know more about what happened to Ulcizer's brother. What version of him did Vis meet? Which one? Kubrick is my favourite director. Have you watched any other Kubrick films? What films has Kubrick done? I don't know. Let me have a little quick Google and then I'll be able to tell you if I have watched any Kubrick films. Watch the Others. What's that about, Sarah? I don't think I've heard of that. Kubrick films. I hope I didn't just put my passcode in on the camera. No, you can't see. Good. Oh, The Shining is one. The Shining's one. I don't think I've seen any of these. No, I haven't seen any of them. Not any that are on here on this list. Oh yeah, so the picture that comes up for The Shining is the only part that I've seen when he puts his head through the door. Here's Johnny. Um, so excellent carrot cake has a Sunday roast going. Oh, that's good. Oh, I didn't have Sunday roast today. That's blasphemy. I had steak. I could have put gravy on it and added a Yorkshire pudding, and then it would have been a roast. Why didn't I do that? Benjamin says, I usually wait a year for paperbacks of new releases to come out, but I think I may have to make an exception for the strength of the few. Same, but here's my problem. I have the paperback for Will of the Many. So it, what do I do? Because let me see. You might not be able to see, but it annoys me that I have Fourth Wing in the paperback, and then Iron Flame and Onyx Dawn I have as the hardbacks. That annoys me every time I see it. Same with Sunrise on the Reaping and the Hunger Games. It annoys me every time I see it. So I need the paperback for this. So I don't know whether or not to read The Strength of the Few like on a Kindle edition, on ebook, and then in a year from now when the paperback is released, I'll buy the paperback as the trophy to go on my shelf with this, because the spine of this is beautiful. Like, I love the spine of this. So to have the second one next to it would be great, even if I've already read it. So I might do that. Excellent Carrot Cake says, I'll be in and out. Just wanted to say hi to everyone. Hope everyone's had a lovely day / October. That is lovely. Thank you so much. Lovely to see you here. Thank you so much for joining. I really do appreciate it. Always nice to see you, and I hope you've had a good weekend. Valerian says 2001 Full Metal Jacket, Clockwork Orange, The Shining, Doctor Strangelove. Faisal says Shining, Aliens, Fantasy, Watch Legend. Yeah, I haven't seen any of these. Full Metal Jacket, 2001 Space Odyssey, Full Metal Jacket, one of my favorites. You don't need to watch it. I mean, I will. It's on here on this list that I've got. What is that about? A US Marine? Yeah, maybe I need to watch some of these. I feel like there's loads of popular movies that I haven't watched, and I think I need to watch them. The problem with Sira is that his body is in the normal world. His body in the normal world was killed because the end of the labyrinth should kill the completers after cloning them. Just Viz tricked them. Also, on a random note, is anybody else really, really sad that he lost his arm? That must be really difficult to adjust to. Is that why? Is that why that girl has lost her eyes? Do you think? Is that why she has lost her eyes? The plot thickens. So Sarah says a mother and her 2 kids live in a house. Her hubby is off to war. Weird things start going on, like ghosty events. A nice plot twist at the end, starring Nicole Kidman. That sounds cool. That sounds good. What was that called? The Others? Was that the one that was called The Others? Yeah, I might have to watch that. That sounds really cool. Benjamin says, Becky, if you think that's bad, I often buy first releases on Kindle. Then if I like the book, I buy the sequels. The sequels as a physical release. My shelves make no sense. Benjamin, why would you do that? So you don't buy the first book. All you have on your bookshelf is like book 2 and 3 of a series. Yeah, okay. And I thought I was bad. That would, can you imagine if I had like this whole series, but every book 1 was not there? I don't think I'd be able to look at my bookshelf. Oh, yeah. That's not cool. You need to sort that out, Benjamin. Oh no, you've got free will. You've got Will of the Many. That wasn't funny. Callie says Vietnam War, Full Metal Jacket. His copy lost his arm. He lost his arm, but kept his life. It's a fair guess. So I mean, I'd rather live with one arm. Like, if it was a choice of death or lose an arm, I'd always, I'd hand my arm over. But did all versions of him lose the arm? Because wasn't there somebody else that he met, who had clearly gone through, who was clearly a copy, because he'd had like a scar or something, hadn't he? He'd lost something. It's like every time you clone yourself, you lose something. The no eyes are the guardians of the gate. I think Lannistia was about to be sacrificed. Yeah. But why did they lose their eyes? And why was she so casual about it? Like, she didn't seem traumatized in the slightest. Benjamin says they don't mind the chaos. Honestly, I wish I could live in chaos, but I just get so overwhelmed. Sarah says, "You always make me laugh and crack up. You are a funny person. Must be nice being around you." Oh, that's very lovely to say. I think it's probably quite annoying to be around me. Um, yeah, sometimes I do just think I'm a bit psychologically insane, but why not? Life is to be lived, is it not? Original and one copy lost arms. Oh, the one who met the brother didn't. I think the copies have the arm, but the real one doesn't have the arm. Oh, so there's a version of him that still has his arm? Well, yeah, well, I'd happily give my arm away so that the other two versions of me could exist and keep their arms. So, oh yeah, so I thought that every version of him lost an arm. So the copies keep the arms. Okay. God, do you know what? Can you imagine if in the next book they have 3 POVs and each one is from a different perspective of this, like a different version of him? How cool would that be? That's gotta happen, surely. You can't clone him and then not have the clone's perspective as well. I think that would be very cool. I do definitely wanna read the next book. Valerian says, "Would love film reactions and reviews too. To be honest, only got into books recently, but been very into films for like forever." Yeah, and I just feel like because I've always been a bookworm, I've always read more than I've watched things. And so I feel like I've missed out on a load of really popular movies, and people tell me, "Have you watched this? Have you watched that?" And it's like, no, like I haven't watched The Lord of the Rings. I haven't watched the Hobbit movies. Um, Obviously, I'm reading Lord of the Rings at the moment, so I was going to read it first and then watch. But I have read the Hobbit book. But yeah, there's like all these movies that are very popular that everybody seems to have watched that I just haven't. So maybe I should maybe I should watch some of these. I need to catch up with everybody else. Sarah says, "I'm serious." Oh, that's cute. Thank you, Sarah. Um, Bestie says, "Free versions of this for free pyramids of the hierarchy." The plot thickens. Did you watch Gladiator at least? No, I didn't watch Gladiator. Is that a movie or a TV show? I thought that was a TV show. Um, Benjamin says that would be super interesting. A multi POV story, but they're all technically the same person. Haven't read that concept before. Yeah, and I think that that's what he should do in the next book. I think that's what he will do because it's not been done before. It's so unique, and every single like it's still this. It's a different copy of him every single time. So it would be very difficult to write to stop it from being confusing. But I think that would be such an amazing concept if he did that. Yeah, I really want to read the next one. Star Wars, nope. I did watch one of the Star Wars movies with a friend. Rogue One? Was that what it was called? But I didn't understand what was going on because I knew nothing about Star Wars. Was it called Rogue? Yeah, 2016 it came out. That sounds about right. Yeah. Yeah, so I watched Rogue One in the cinema and I didn't know anything about it. And so I was very confused, but I enjoyed the movie. And that's the only Star Wars movie that I have watched. Is that not crazy? Should I watch the Star Wars movies? Would that get views on my YouTube if I reacted to that? Sarah says, "What? You're a Gen Z girl." I'm a galaxy at this point. Funny. Um, I just can't believe I haven't watched any of this stuff. To be fair, I won't watch these things to get like to do it for YouTube videos. I'll watch them because I genuinely want to watch them. But I can't believe that I haven't. Actually, I watched the new Superman the other day. The other day being last night. I watched the new Superman with the new guy. I actually liked it. I really liked it. I thought it was good. I thought the dialogue was funny. They added humor in the right places. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Spartacus. Oh, Spartacus is the TV show. I was thinking of Spartacus. Yeah, I haven't watched Spartacus, but that is what I was thinking of. Gladiator is the movie. Okay, thank you for clarifying that. I was definitely thinking of Spartacus earlier. Um, would you recommend them? Should I watch them? Bestie says no. Scott says Dolphins win. What was the final score? I can't believe I've missed it. I'll have to watch the highlights. Benjamin says, "You should watch Andor. It's a show that acts as a prequel to the film Rogue One. It elevates Rogue One so much." Oh my goodness, so I might actually know what's going on. Yeah, I've heard very good things about Andor. That's one of the things that has kept coming up this year is people saying good things about it. So I was intrigued, but I just didn't know if I should watch it when I haven't watched anything else really to do with Star Wars. I think I should start from scratch, like start from the first, and watch them in like chronological order. It'll take me a while, but at least I would know what was happening. I have watched the Marvel movies though. Those are popular, and I did watch those when they came out. So at least I know that stuff. If you like the Roman vibe, you should watch Rome then. I do love the Roman vibe, to be fair. What did I watch? I watched a TV series recently that actually had the guy who plays Ramsay Bolton in it. But this was before I watched Game of Thrones. Ramsay wasn't even in Game of Thrones when I was watching it. And yeah, he was in it. So that was the first time I ever saw the actor for Ramsay Bolton was in that TV series that came out earlier this year. What was it called? Because I actually thought it was really good. Do you know what? I'm just going to Google the actor's name so I can tell you guys what it was called. And that was based in like Rome. It had like the Colosseum fights. They're not called fights. What are they called? Like that, like entertainment. Um, Ramsay Bolton actor. What was that called? It was really good. I enjoyed it. Um, Rogue One loved it. Here we go. He was in Those About to Die. That's what it was called. It's called Those About to Die. That's what I watched earlier this year, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was good. It was very interesting, and it had the Roman vibe. Weird Stannis in here, or is he watching us? Do you mean Stannis the Manis or Luca, as he's actually called? um, Gladiator is a must watch. You should never tell people that you haven't seen it. Oh dear, will I be hated if I tell people I haven't seen it? When did Gladiator come out? Is it quite an old movie or is it relatively modern? Um, I remember Ramsay Bolton's actor in Misfits. Oh, I didn't know he was in Misfits. Um, Dolphins 3410. Wow. Oh my goodness. That is amazing. I can't believe we've actually won. Um, Faces put no, no, no. Watch Star Wars in release order, not chronological. It's the biggest mistake anyone can make. Oh, I got my words mixed up. When I said chronological, I meant in terms of the time that they came out. So starting from the first one that came out, which is release order. So because I know the prequels were released after, I was going to watch the first one with like the original Luke Skywalker and everything first. So I realized I completely messed my wording up when in my head when I said chronological, I meant like in terms of our timeline when it came out. But obviously, in Star Wars universe, that wouldn't be the first because the prequels were the first one. So yeah, my mistake. But yeah, that is the order that I would watch it in. Is the one that you recommended is when they came out. Because the first one came out ages ago, didn't it? Like not even in this century. Is century the right word for the 2000s? For Andor, you just need to know that there is an empire, yeah, bad guys, and a rebellion, good guys. Okay, I do know that. I do know that about Star Wars. And a planet-killing weapon called the Death Star. The rest is very good political thriller. Okay, maybe I could watch it then. Maybe I could watch it. Gladiator is like 2000, 2001, 2000. Wow, okay, so over 20 years old then. Very relevant to our current times. I know, it sounds a little bit too relevant, doesn't it? In a very scary way. Andor is not Star Wars. Yeah, I'm not expecting to get much Star Wars lore from it. I'm expecting to get that from the OG movies. But if it's good and people are recommending it, then I'm sure it'll be a good one. What I need to watch is and because another popular thing that everyone keeps talking about is The Mandalorian. When that came out, everybody was going crazy over that. I didn't watch it. I think I need to watch that too because it sounds very, very good. Um, I was 13 in the year 2000. How old would I have been in the year 2000? Why can't I work this out? Why can't I work out how old I would have been in the year 2000? Been? Would I have been 4? I'm gonna have to ask my mum. I can't work it out. Star Wars Clone Wars animated series is the GOAT. Awesome. We've got some good recommendations. Um, yeah, I think the thing with some of these is that they do feel very, very, very relevant to today's society. When you look at some of the stuff, I mean, for example, The Handmaid's Tale. So I haven't read the book or watched the TV show. I really want to. But a lot of people are saying it's very, very close to the way things are currently going, but I kind of know the concept of The Handmaid's Tale, and I don't like the sounds of how relevant it feels. So when there's Animal Farm. Animal Farm's another one where you read it and it was released so long ago, but it still feels very relevant in a very scary way. So, yeah. Kalu says you guys are babies. Yeah, to be honest, like, the year 2000 doesn't feel like it was that long ago, but it actually was, because, like, my entire lifetime basically has been since then almost. Um, The Handmaid's Tale is really good. It's a very hard watch at times, though. Yeah, I can imagine it would be just because of the subject matter. Handmaid's Tale is a great book. Yeah, I wanna read the book, and then I think I will watch the series at some point because it does sound very, very good. I'm just not expecting it to be comfortable. Have you read 1984? 1984 is so good. I have not. I have not. Um, it's on my list. It's on my list to read. I do really want to read it. Um, oh my god, we've been live for an hour already. It's crazy. Did anybody else have anything they wanted to say about Will of the Many? I think we've all agreed it's a great book, phenomenal, and we'll definitely be reading the second one. Is anybody excited for the November book club pick, which is Project Hail Mary? I'm very excited for that actually, because that is another book that I've seen a lot of people online talking about. So yeah, I think it'd be good getting into a bit of sci-fi. And it's also not too long of a book. I did Google the page count. It's not too long. So it should be good. I don't know much about it. I like to not know much about my books before going into them. Callie says, loved it, need to read the second one. Yeah, we timed this very well because I enjoyed The Will of the Many, and now we don't have very long to wait until the next one in the series. So glad you picked Project Hail Mary. It was next on my TBR list. Yeah, I think that's it. So for the book club polls, I try and put things that are like a balance between things that I would like to read, because obviously I will have to read whatever book is in the book club. So things that are on my TBR, but also things that I think will be on other people's TBRs. So any up and coming books or ones that are getting a bit more popular that people might have heard about, or things that just seem very interesting based on what genres we all like to read. So I'm glad that Project Hail Mary was picked to be the winner in the poll, because it has been it's like a recent addition to my TBR, like probably only the past few months or so it's been on there. But I just really like the reviews I was reading about it, so I'm glad that that one got picked. Valerian says, watching it, reading it was like, what a great commentary on what would happen to the US if it pushed to the absolute extreme. Watching it at this point in time is like, wow, this is close to the US right now. Yeah, that is what I heard people say, is that it feels like too close to home, or it feels like it's starting to come true now, which is very scary, because when she wrote that, it was like this dystopian fictional thing, and now it does not feel that fictional anymore, which is such a shame. Got to read Hail Mary before the new film. I didn't even realize there was a film coming out. Project Hail Mary movie coming out next year with Ryan Gosling. Oh my goodness. Okay, again, we have timed this perfectly. How long does it take you to finish a book? I knew a girl who could finish a book in 7 hours. It really does depend on what the book, like how long the book is. So I tend to do it for how many pages I can read an hour. So at the moment, it does depend on font size, but I probably average between 40 to 60 pages an hour. So for this book, the font is very, very, very small. So I would say it probably was taking me about 50 pages an hour to get through. Yeah, no, maybe 40 pages, because it's a very, very small font. But the book I'm reading at the moment, the font's quite big, so I feel like I'm racing through it a lot quicker. Um, so yeah, I don't know, it depends on the book. 7 hours, I suppose if you're reading like a 300-page book, and say if you're reading 50 pages an hour, what's 50 times 7? Would you get through a 300-page book in that time? I would never read it all in one go, though. I couldn't just sit and read for 7 hours, uh, without a break. Okay, yeah, so 50 times 7 is 350. So if you've got a 350-page book and you were reading 50 pages an hour, you could get through it in 7 hours. Oh, yeah, Kalu did the maths. I had to use a calculator. I didn't do that with my brain. I have my phone next to me. I won't pretend I worked that out on the spot with my brain. Um, how would you compare The Will of the Many to Red Rising? I feel like there are a lot of similarities. Yeah, there are. But I think I preferred Will of the Many. No, I know I preferred Will of the Many. I've heard incredible things about book 2 in Red Rising. So, like, apparently his writing style is massively improved in the second book. So I will read the second book in Red Rising. But when I'm comparing the firsts in the series, Will of the Many is the winner out of the two. Don't watch the trailer. I made that mistake. It has spoilers in the trailer. Thank you for warning me, and I'm so sorry that you had to find out the hard way. When I read Babel, I read 100 pages per hour, but it wasn't comfy. Mostly I read 50 an hour. Yeah, 100 pages is amazing an hour. Um, but yeah, I think I am classed as a slow reader for getting through like between 40 to 60. I think that is quite slow. 40 is classed as a slow reader. But I don't mind. I don't really pay much attention to how much I read an hour. I just read. And more recently, my concentration keeps zoning out. So I'll have to reread a page because I realize I read it and then didn't even like process anything. So yeah, so I think at the moment I probably am slow, but that's fine. I have an American friend, and we have a running joke that every day the US gets closer to The Handmaid's Tale, we sometimes say, "Blessed be the fruit," instead of "I," greeted in the book show. Oh, it's good that you can like laugh about it, but it's also quite sad. Like, is it not quite scary? Like, sometimes the political state in the UK scares me a bit. I try not to think about it too much because then I'll go into like a state of existential dread. Um, I like to think about what I am reading, not just race to the end. Yeah, I don't want to read a book too quick as well because if I'm really, really enjoying it, I like to like savor it, and I'll just read. Like, I won't race to the end to find out what happens. I'll take it nice and slow and steady so that I can enjoy it and enjoy it for longer. Um, I just knew it because I rushed Babel for the book club. I remember I finished it 20 minutes before the stream. That's so sad though when you have to rush a book because I feel like if I rush them, I don't enjoy them as much. Um, yeah, I did that for some of you. I don't know how long some of you have been subscribed to me for, but at the start of the year, I did a 24-hour reading challenge. And I tried to read as much as I could in 24 hours. And I remember I read The Hobbit all in one go. And this is a sign that The Hobbit is a good book because I still enjoyed The Hobbit. But reading it all in one go, my eyes felt like they were going to fall out of my head. Like my eyeballs felt loose, like they weren't attached to my skull anymore because I was just reading so much. I think I had bloodshot eyes. I felt like I was crying. They were so strained, and I was like, I cannot read another page. But I still really loved The Hobbit. But I would never ever want to read for that long in one go ever again because it just was not enjoyable. And then the first book I read before that was one that I rated a 3 stars. It was a book by Victoria Aveyard, Realmbreaker, and I enjoyed it, but it's like a 500 and something page book, and I tried to read it within that 24 hours. And it was a slog. Like it was not an enjoyable way to read. So I would not want to read like that ever again. So yeah, anyway, moral of the story. I'm sorry, bestie, that you had to rush Babel for the book club. Valerian says their American friend is considering moving to Canada/Europe. Yeah, that bad that they're considering moving. Yeah, that is really sad. Bestie says it was fine, but Babel was a bit rough because the language is not that easy. Yeah, Babel is a dense book. It's a very difficult one to rush through as well. It's not an easy read. Could you imagine trying to rush Dune? Like, I found Dune to be one of the most challenging books I've ever read in my life. So if I didn't pace it, I think I would just have a breakdown. How often do you cry while reading? Depends what kind of day I'm having. Obviously, not that much. I'm not really that much of a crier, and not from emotions. I don't cry from emotions. I cry from, like, physical exertion. Like, I could cry after having exercise. I could cry after reading 300 pages in one go, but I won't cry from being sad, if that makes sense. Does that make any sense? Ever thought of writing a screenplay for one of the good books you have read? It took J.K. Rowling 2 years to find a publisher, so it might be hard. I think writing a screenplay would actually be quite difficult. I don't think I have any skill to do that, but it might be something, like, that you can learn. I don't know, I was thinking the other day of looking into, like, copy editing books. Not seriously, but just, like, yeah, I don't know, because I was when I was reading, right, this is what sparked my idea. When I was reading Red Seas Under Red Skies by, Scott Lynch, it's a brilliant, brilliant book, but there were actually a lot of typos in it, like, loads of typos, and then I also realized when I was reading Fever Dream that my eyes kept going to typos, so I thought, like, is my brain just picking all of these things out? Like, do I need to consider, maybe, I don't know. I just think copy editing would be quite a fun job as well. So we shall see. Bestie cries sometimes when reading. Yeah, through emotions or through physical exertion. Are you normal, or are you like me and not very normal? Scott says not the only American considering it. That's it, honestly, it's such a shame to hear that. Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't really know, like, a whole lot about American politics, but it's such a shame to hear about that. Would you be up for trying a funny, not fantasy book series? Something like the John Dies at the End series, or if you are reading this book, you are in the wrong universe. Yeah, 100% I would. I just haven't before. Like, but I feel like I would love that. So yeah, give me the recommendations. I would happily do that. And if anybody wants anything like that in the book club, send me some recommendations. Basil says, I'd say go for it, writing a screenplay. Awesome. I could look into that and see, because I think with things like writing a screenplay, copy editing, I think they just must be such fun things to do. Like, I can't imagine jobs like that not being enjoyable. Like, yeah, they would be stressful. Of course they would. Every job has an element of stress, but I just think that they would sound really fun and very interesting. Bestie cries because of emotions. That is good, because if an author can make you cry through reading their book, and it's not because the book is so awful that it brings you to tears, then they've done such a powerful thing, haven't they? In fact, there's only 2 books that have made me cry before. The first one is, oh, I can't do the mirror thing. Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb, and then the other one is, The Red Wedding in Storm of Swords by George R. R. Martin. Those are the 2 books that have made me cry. Oh, there was one other book that made me cry when I was a child, Fallen by Lauren Kate. It's like a book series, and the final book in that series made me cry. It was sad, but, like, I also hated the ending because it made the rest of the series completely pointless. So, I won't spoil it in case anybody does ever wanna read it. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's a children's book. It was good for the age that I was, but the ending was not, yeah, the ending just made everything else pointless, and then that made me cry because it was sad because I loved the characters, but then it was also as though they never even existed. So, so yeah, those are the 3 books that made me cry. I read The Vegetarian this year, but I hated it, so I go back to fantasy. The Vegetarian, what is that about? A book that makes you cry or laugh is the ultimate compliment. Yeah, exactly. If a author can evoke that type of emotion in you, then that, honestly, it's incredible. Pet Cemetery very almost made me cry. Pet Cemetery made me audibly gasp. So that was the kind of book where I'm sat there in the silence, and then there's, like, a very shocking part, and it literally makes me, like, gasp to myself. So that's very powerful. and it made my eyes water, but it didn't make me cry, but it very almost did. So Pet Sematary is another one that I just thought was phenomenal. I always cry when watching Lord of the Rings. I'm so excited to watch Lord of the Rings. I am about 400 pages in to Lord of the Rings at the moment. So I think I should be finished with Fellowship of the Ring soon, and then it'll move on to the next one. I've got it all in one edition, so it's like over 1,000 pages. Faisal said there's a book called The Vegetarian. Yeah, apparently it's not very good because Bestie hated it. Um, oh, Ben just made such a good point. I forgot there was an animal companion in Will. Diago is too cranky to be a contender to match Night Eye so far. Loyal is a good start though. Yeah, I was very, very happy with Diago's story or Diego, because I thought that bad things were going to happen to them. And it didn't, did it? No, it didn't. And that was quite cute that it starts off being a little pup and then we see them later on being like this badass. So, yeah, any animal companion I'm always automatically connected to. So I hope that they come back in the next one and we see them again. But yeah, I think at the moment anything is going to be difficult to match Night Eyes. I mean, I've only read one book with Night Eyes in it, but Night Eyes, 11 out of 10. They're incredible. It's a drama, but I didn't know it before. The author has a literature Nobel Prize, so I tried it. Wow, that's the big stuff. To have a Nobel Prize is the big stuff. They mean business. I remember scaring people for how hard I was laughing reading The Hitchhiker's Guide. Douglas Adams is the goat of British type sarcastic humour. I feel like I have that. I think I do have that. Yeah, I do. It's this blooming mirror effect. There, next to Mickey 7. That's Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Maybe I should read that. Should I read that? I haven't read it. It's on my bookshelf and I haven't read it. Maybe it's good, but it was too dramatic for me. Oh, so The Vegetarian is not a comedy then? So it's, what did you say it was? It was a drama. Oh. Sitting at a coffee shop laughing laughing by myself as a crazy person. See, I don't know if a book has ever made me laugh before. I did chuckle a bit at the dialogue in Red Seas Under Red Skies, and actually the Blade itself, there were parts where I was kinda like subtly chuckling. But I would love to read a book that actually makes me laugh. Like, I think that's what I'm missing. I haven't had a book that's made me do that before. So maybe Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy will be the one, if it did that for you. Bestie says, I just waited for a good ending, but everything went worse. Oh, I'm so sad that you wasted your time on that. I'm sorry. Benjamin Reed says, we are back. This is making me want to read the next one. Which one's my next one? Assassin's Quest. That's my next one that I need to read. Nobel Prize for Literature. Who would have thought it? The Hitchhiker's Guide is 4 books. You should definitely read them. Oh, what edition? Do I just have the first one then? I don't know what I have. Sorry, guys. I didn't mean to just like turn my back to you. I was trying to work out if that was one book that I have. Have you heard of the Aragon series? I've got the Aragon series, if that's what you mean, the Inheritance Cycle. There's Aragon. I've only read Aragon and Eldest. But I haven't watched the Aragon movie. The only thing I've heard about it is it's terrible, which makes me want to watch it. So I think that's what I think I'm gonna watch. Please don't do it. I want to. I want to. Like there might be a day where I just want to punish myself. Yeah. Bestie really don't want me to watch Aragon. Do you know what? I'm gonna do it. Every time you say don't do it, it makes me want to. It's a bit cringy. Yeah, but some cringy things are good, aren't they? Sometimes we love a bit of cringe. Will we love a bit of cringe in Aragon? I'm excited. This might be the most excited I've ever been. I really want to watch Aragon because I'm expecting to hate it. And I just think it'll be funny. It might make me laugh. Oh, Faisal says I like the Aragon movie and I saw it in the theatre. Maybe it's not that bad then. All I've heard is bad reviews. Scott says watch The Shining first. Yeah, I would want to watch The Shining soon because it feels like the season for it. And the Shining book is like set across winter, isn't it? So it feels like the time. and the season right now to watch The Shining. So I definitely would want to watch that soon. So, guys, if you wanted me to react to anything that wasn't Game of Thronesy, what would you want me to react to? Um, just trying to think of, because obviously at some point Game of Thrones will end. It does not last forever. And I've got my thing at the moment where every week I upload a Game of Thrones episode reaction. So I'm just trying to plan for what do I upload when Game of Thrones is finished. Um, I do kind of want to rewatch season one because I didn't do episode reactions for season one other than episode 9, which was Ned Stark's. Well, actually, I won't spoil it in case nobody has watched Game of Thrones. Um, so I do want to do like a rewatching, but just for season one. Um, but yeah, we need to think of content. I know we're like a year away from me finishing it. Um, but yeah, what do you want to see? So Bestie says, I saw Aragon 2 in the cinema. It was the biggest disappointment in my life after I loved the book so much. Right. Yeah. I think that's why it will be sad because the book for Aragon, like I loved Aragon. I rated it 4 out of 5 stars. I loved it. So to hear how terrible the movie is, it's sad. Like, like they clearly didn't do it well. They clearly didn't do it justice. Shining reaction for Halloween would go crazy. So I would need to get that done soon then, wouldn't I? Maybe next Halloween. Shogun. We could read Shogun. Isn't Shogun a really long book? We could add Shogun to the book club for next year, but I feel like Shogun's very, very long. So whether or not anybody would be able to read that in a month, we shall see. But we could watch it. Will you do weekly reactions to A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms when it comes out? Yes, I am planning to. The reactions might look a little bit different though, because for things that come out like very, very recently, copyright goes crazy. So it would be a case of like 2 second long clips and then I'd have to cut it off. So I'm hoping to do like a reaction and breakdown in the same video, like review, just to make up for the lack of clips of the episode. Because I can guarantee I would get copyright strikes if I put too much of the episode in. But I'm gonna just try. I'm gonna see what I can do within copyright law. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what that looks like. Kalu says send everybody to Patreon. Yep, if you are on Patreon, then you will love the reactions because I'll be able to put a little bit more in. Just a bit more. Lord of the Rings trilogy. That's a very good shout. I definitely do want to do the extended Lord of the Rings film movie reactions. I think like aren't they like 3 hours long? So that could be a big one to edit. But yeah, I want to react to those as well when Game of Thrones is over. You can see her arranging her camera all the time. Right. The thing with my camera is that it will just randomly like out of focus me, which is so annoying. And I thought like if I'm watching a Game of Thrones episode, which is like an hour long, and then it out of focuses me in the first 5 minutes, you then have a whole 55 minutes of me being blurry. Who is going to pay for that? So every like 10 minutes or so, I try to refocus the camera just to stop it because like otherwise you are paying money to see a blurred me. It's so annoying. The amount of times I've filmed a video and the entire thing has been out of focus. And it's like I've just wasted half an hour of my life. But luckily for Game of Thrones, that has not happened yet, where it's been completely out of focus because I can't refilm a reaction because I will have already have watched the episode. So yeah, I'm too cautious over the focus thing. Yeah, you get the dances to the intro and the closing credits. You get to listen to the closing credits music. It's great. Faisal says it seems like they're going to take 3 years to make the second season of Shogun. 3 years? Why? Is there like a time jump in Shogun? 3 years seems a bit long. Alt Shift X is going to do weekly breakdowns of A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, which will be cool to see videos from him again finally. I think that A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms will be great for the community. Sorry, I'm playing with hand cream. I don't know why. I just picked that up and started playing with it. I think it will be great for the community again. I feel like people are getting quite fed up. not fed up, that's a strong word. I'm getting fed up. I think they're just things at the moment are very dull in the community for A Song of Ice and Fire. I think A Night of the Seven Kingdoms will get some inspiration back and some motivation from people. So it will be cool to see all the hype around it and feel like a community with everybody. Yeah, it'd be great. Callie says it's worth it. Callie's doing great at advertising my Patreon. Um, Extended is 4 hours per film, bit long to edit. That is very long. My camera would definitely die midway through that as well. That is very long. Lord of the Rings. Yeah, I think I'll definitely watch Lord of the Rings. Modern shows seem to start production for one season at least a year after previous ends for some reason. Yeah, that makes no sense. I mean, leaving like 2 years between a season is crazy. Like, why do they do that? Who is planning this stuff? I don't understand. So we've almost been going live for an hour and a half. That's a long time. Thank you so much for those of you who've stuck by me in this stream, and for everybody who's chatted. It's always nice to hear from you all. Yeah, we'll give it like another few minutes in case anybody else wants to share some more thoughts, and then we will call it a night if it's nighttime where you are. Special effects and rendering takes a long time. I can imagine. Goodness. Yeah, actually, that would take and a big budget. That would take a lot of money. Faisal says, "I've got the purple banner in front of my name. It says number 3. Is it good?" I don't know what that means. Oh, I think it's the leaderboard. Oh, yeah. So they do this thing on live stream now where they have like a leaderboard. So it says you're 4th at the moment. So I think you were 3rd, and now you've gone to 4th. I don't know how you get high up on the leaderboard. I've got no idea. It's a new thing that YouTube did for live streams, and I think it was only like a month ago or the month before that they introduced it. So yeah. But I think if you have that banner, I think it is good. Maybe One Piece live action. Watch a trailer first to see if it would be your taste. Somebody else recommended One Piece. I feel like that's come up quite a lot. So yeah, I think I'll watch the trailer and then see if One Piece seems like it would be good. Oh, thank you, Scott. Keep doing what you're doing. That's lovely. And thanks again for becoming a Dragon Rider. I really do appreciate it. I really do. I really do love the support. Valerian says dark so early today. I know. There's going to be no more daylight left soon. Callie says this was fun as always, Becky. I hope the next one is not in the middle of the early NFL games. To be fair, for the next few months, they'll always be in the middle of NFL games because they start at 6 p.m. here, and then obviously I go live at 7. But I'm just glad we won. I'm going to be on a high after this. The Dolphins winning a game this season. Can you believe it? But yeah, this has been so fun. Bestie says I did because I love it. Okay, well I think I need to watch it then in honor of you, because you love it, and I like to watch what you guys like to watch. So yeah, I think I'll watch the trailer for One Piece and then see what I think. I've heard great things about it though. Anyway, I think we'll call it a night. Oh, you love the anime but not live action. Is the live action newer than the anime? Valerian's looking forward to the Shining reaction. I know I'm excited to watch it. Like I think it's like a classic. Well, maybe not a classic, it's not that old, but like great. Awesome. We've almost been going for an hour and a half. This is crazy. But yeah, thank you so much everybody for all the fun tonight. It's been a great Sunday evening. Obviously, the next live stream will be on the 30th November, Sunday the 30th at 7 p.m, which will be the same time as today's was. So just bear that in mind if your clocks have not changed by that point. And we'll be talking about Project Hail Mary and anything else that comes up in the lives, because we talk about anything and everything. Oh, Bestie's asked a great question. Before we end, what was your rating for Will of the Many? I rated this, 4 out of 5. It was great. For the first, maybe like a third, it was a 3.5. And then I enjoyed it more and more and more the more that I read it. What did you guys all rate it? 4.25, strong 5. Yeah, we have some very high ratings. 5, yeah. We've got some very, very high ratings here for it. Yeah, the general opinion is that we all loved it. It was great, and we will all read the next one, I'm sure. So yeah, if you do read the next book next month, I'd love to know your thoughts. You know, give me like a comment on any video that you want to let me know what you think to the strength of the few. I will definitely want uh to watch it, to read it even. See the show, see with Jason Momoa, Khal Drogo, excellent show on Apple TV. Oh, yeah, definitely. I would love to see his face again. Anyways, thank you all for keeping me company this evening. I appreciate you all. That is a very good rating on Goodreads, 4.6. That is crazy. And I agree with every single good rating because it was brilliant. Have a fantastic rest of your Sunday and have a good week ahead of you. And we will catch up in November. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye.